One, a big announcement for the Will Cain Show. Two, Tomi Lahren on Pete Hegseth's confirmation, the LA fires, and more. Three, what happened in Los Angeles? Are we politicizing it to point out the failures of leadership, the failures of priorities? Let's dig into where was the mind? Where were the priorities of the leaders in California? It is the Will Cain Show, streaming live at foxnews.com, on the Fox News YouTube channel and the Fox News Facebook page, terrestrial radio stations across this country, but always on demand by subscribing at Apple or on Spotify. Every Monday through Thursday, now into the future. Streaming right here at 12 o'clock Eastern Time at Fox News YouTube. We have a big show for you today. I got my big boy clothes on, as you can see. That's something we need to talk about. How am I going to dress? Because we have an announcement to share with you, our friends, our family, our relationship, the Willisha. In fact, let me just get straight to that. What's up? You want to jump in right away?
I just got to give one of these. Just got to give one of these, buddy. We're real proud of you. We're really happy for you.
Okay, hit the sounder here real quick. Story number one. Okay, so here's what's going on. Last week, I wanted to share this with you. I thought I was going to share it with you. Last Thursday, events changed our timeline a little bit, and it turns out that it's today. It's like an hour and a half ago. The announcement was put out by Fox News that starting next week, January 21st, Tuesday after inauguration, the Will Cain Show will be at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Fox News channel. They have entrusted me, and they have honored me with saying we would like you to take over the 4 p.m. slot. Now, you notice I said the Will Cain Show. That is not the same thing as the Will Cain Show streaming live on radio, on YouTube, and on podcast. In fact, it's growth of this. I'm super proud and humbled at what we have built here together, and I mean that. You got Young Establishment James has been here from the absolute very beginning when this launched as just a podcast. Tinfoil Pat came in from the outside of Fox News, someone that was not brought up within the system, and that's why he's a conspiracy theorist and gets away with his tinfoil theories. And Two-A-Days Dan has been absolutely integral from the moment he joined this show. I mean, and the four of us together, but not just the four of us. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that believed in this little project, fought for it a long time. And you guys have heard me say it. I mean, I'm a fighter a little bit for what I want, and I'm not done. I press and push, and I have visions, and it's not. It is ambition, but it's more just like I want to do this certain thing, and I want to do this certain thing with the audience, and that's the final component of this. It's you. It's the audience who's been with us from day one. You've helped us grow this, first of all, into the biggest podcast at Fox News. Secondarily, when we launched on YouTube and Facebook and foxnews.com, you were with us and helped us absolutely blow out the numbers as a digital streaming show on all those same platforms. And at some point along the way, between what I was able to be a part of on Fox and Friends Weekend with two of the best people, not that just I have worked with, but that I can imagine working with that exist in this business, in Rachel Campos-Duffy and Pete Hegseth. Between what they saw on all those platforms, they said, hey, what you're doing, let's do that on TV. Let's take this and let's, it's gonna be different. It's not the same thing as what we're doing here every day, but it's gonna have the same spirit. It is curious, open, critical thinking. Yes, opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion, but from day one, whether or not I was on ESPN or on Fox, it was let me share with you my bias, because it's the first step in an honest relationship. And then you can adjust for what it is I believe, or you can co-sign what I believe. But we're going to think about these things deeper. And you have just been so integral. I mean it. And we're going to have long-form interviews. We're going to have debate. We're going to do off-the-wall type things, which I've done on Fox and Friends. And I've also been told this. Chill, Will. Chill. Because back to the whole Will, he pushes and he white knuckles and all this. Whatever it is on day one, is it what it will be 6 months down the road? And the more I thought about that, guys, it's true for everything. You know, in a moment, we're going to be joined by Tomi Lahren, who's built a great show over OutKick. Anyone who ever has done that knows that, like, you have a vision and then it grows. I mean, Tucker Carlson, we watched it in 16, wasn't what it was in 20, you know, and the 5 and everything, you know, it's not. So that I want you to hang with me because this is the nature of our relationship. It's just open and honest. And so we're going to grow together. And now we're going to grow together on television. Yeah. So,
very
4
exciting,
o'clock.
man.
I'm so jacked. And I hope they're cool with me telling you guys this.
Yeah. Imagine.
They will be.
It's coming to you from America. It's coming to you from Texas, which I could not be more excited. It's a tough day to do Hook 'em, young James. We'll get into that a little later in the show. But it's coming to you from the heartland of America, from my home state, from Texas. I am so pumped up. I mean it. I am so excited. And I don't let myself get excited in this career. I don't, because, I mean, it's all a journey. And the journey ends as easily as it begins. But that's the point. I can't wait to begin this journey with you, Tinfoil, with you, Two-A-Days, with you, Young Establishment James, and a whole new staff of people that I'm familiar with, some of them. And you know, I want to say, you know, Neil Cavuto held down that slot for, I think, 25 years. He is a Fox News original, and he deserves his own. What he did there is
good man.
Something incredible. I never got to know Neil here. I don't even know if I've ever met Neil. I don't think I ever have or messaged with him. Our lives just don't intersect here in the building because I'm really here on the weekends. But he was a standard setter and a model of doing this job professionally, and I'll do my best for all the fans of your world to do it in my own way, but to live up to those standards as well. Okay, so that's the big announcement. We got more to talk about, like, why did I wear my big boy clothes today? What am I going to wear? Like, I wear T-shirts on this show. Like, what am I going to do? This journey begins today, you and me. What are we going to put on TV? We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later here in the Will Cain Show. But let's take a break, come back, and be joined by my friend Tomi Lahren next on the Will Cain Show. Mark Zuckerberg's discovered his masculine energy. Joe Biden thinks that he could have beat Donald Trump. It's the Will Cain Show, streaming live at foxnews.com, on the Fox News YouTube channel and the Fox News Facebook page. Always available on subscription, which we hope you will, at Spotify or on Apple. Joining me now, my friend herself, one of the builders of a great digital show. Tomi Lahren is fearless over at OutKick. And I'm excited to have her here on the Will Cain Show today. Hey, Tomi.
Hey, Will, and congratulations to you. And my first question was going to be, are you moving back to New York? So I'm so happy to hear that you're going to be in Texas. And, Will, I think this is big, and I want to be selfish because I think if you start doing shows out of Texas, I think they're going to allow more shows to come out of the heartland, maybe some out of Tennessee. Listen, I love New York. I love the building. It's a beautiful building. It's got a, wonderful infrastructure. I would love more shows to be in the heartland where they don't burn down our Christmas tree and they love Fox News. So congratulations to you for bringing it to Texas. I'm so excited for you.
You know, a lot of people said that to me, Tomi, like, it's good. It's great for Fox. You know, like, we are a news organization and a brand with an audience that is all over America and values. And not that those values aren't present in New Jersey and Connecticut and New York, but of course, I mean, to varying degrees. And I'm excited. First of all, obviously, I'm excited for my life. But I just think it's good to be in touch with so many different people and values that we know connect with the Fox News audience.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with being in New York or in D.C. or in Los Angeles. Obviously, that's where media is, that's where business is, that's where entertainment is. But I think it's so healthy and refreshing that those things are expanding into other places in this country so that not only are we representing those people, but they get to be an active part of the stories and the discussions. One of the things that frustrated me most when I was a kid in South Dakota is that they never covered South Dakota. It's like they would show Mount Rushmore, and that was it. And people like me where you grew up in the Midwest, I mean, we're not even Texas, we're South Dakota, right? Unless our governor shoots a dog, nobody cares. So for me, it's nice to see, Americans feel connected to the news, because even if it's just being broadcast out of a place where they are, it makes them feel more a part of the story, and it makes them feel more seen. And so I'm super excited about that. I want to see more of it.
They are seen, and they are part of the story. I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes it rains in New York and it's a national news story, and it takes, incredible fires, even to get us sometimes to pay attention to California. It's so far away, which of course the Fox News Channel's done a great job with what's going on in LA. But yeah, I think it's healthy as well. Let me ask you a question, Tomi. I wasn't planning on this, and we're going to get into some news here together, but you're the perfect person for this, and you've got to have a hot take on this. Okay, so Tomi, I wear a suit and tie, as you know, on Fox and Friends weekend, and the situation calls for it. And now I'm going to be at 4 o'clock, and it's a suit and tie situation. But everyone here, and I really love this, they all share a vision from the top down. I'm so overwhelmingly grateful for the way, not just the opportunity, but the way they want this show. But Tomi, I wear a T-shirt on this show sometimes. I wear poncho shirts. I've got my big boy clothes on today. So I don't know what I'm supposed to wear on TV now. Like, am I a suit and tie guy? Can't be a T-shirt guy. Am I doing what I'm doing today, like open collar? But then once you go open collar, it's like 2 buttons or 1 button. I got a lot of chest hair showing right now.
It's very John Travolta, and I think that's that's okay. Listen, so I think that there are going to be television purists out there. They want everybody to be in a suit. They want everyone to be in a tie. They want it to be, very formal, because that's how news has always been. But I think the younger generation, they're into podcasting. They like the T-shirts. So maybe meet halfway, maybe a polo, maybe golf attire.
Gun show?
I think at 4 p.m. that's basically golf hours. That's happy hours, like early happy hour. So I think you go maybe polo.
If you're drinking at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, you're just the right audience for me. If it's happy hour. Okay, yeah, I got to figure that out. But that's what I'm excited to figure out, it as an organic thing. I'm not going to be perfect coming out of the gates, so that's going to never have been, though. So that's going to be, we'll live it out loud on air. And by the way, and I didn't say this gratuitously, what you're doing at OutKick, and this is not like, hey, look at, I mean, it just shows we both know the future of media and the way that it's moving. And what you're building at OutKick, Tomi, it's huge and it's incredible. And, I'm happy to maybe, like you said, show a path that all this kind of can continue to grow. And you will. And we'll all grow in our own unique ways. But anyway, I just want to acknowledge what you're doing is you're blazing a path on your own right there that is establishing its own success. And I'm happy for you and proud of you.
Well, thank you. I certainly appreciate that. And I love that we can have Texas, Tennessee, all these great places represented. It's super important. So thanks for holding it down in Texas. I still think Tennessee's better. We're never going to agree on that. But, Texas is maybe a close second.
Yeah, all the great Tennesseans did come to Texas and help us win our independence. So I will give them always that credit. But they did become Texans. I mean, Davy Crockett. He started a Tennessean. He ends a Texan. I think he has to. In the Texas legend. All right, Tomi Lahren, let's hit some news. We've both lived in L.A. in our life. I went to college at Pepperdine, right there in the heart of all of this, in Malibu. I know that you lived in L.A. for quite some time. And I know that you have been someone who has consistently covered Gavin Newsom. I'd look at this, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on the show. Okay, you're not supposed to politicize a natural disaster. I think there's a fairness to that critique. I do. But I also think we also have to be grown-ups and go, but how did we get here? And anyone who's lived in L.A., like both of us knows, these kinds of things, they're awful, they're natural disasters, but they're predictable. They happen every couple years. And if something is predictable, then you can look at leadership and go, how were you prepared for something that is predictable? And we know it can be because we've seen Ron DeSantis in Florida, right? We know how good leadership looks in the face of a natural disaster where you can prepare. California is the opposite.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be because of all the money that comes in and out of that state and the taxes that those people pay. And you're seeing a lot of celebrities really get ticked off right now because they are actively expressing how much they pay in taxes and they feel like that should have protected them. But then they also vote for Democrats, so they don't understand the mismanagement at play. And there's something really frustrating for me that's going on with a lot of these celebrities. I know that there are a lot of conservatives that are cheering what they see as an awakening, and I don't want to downplay that. I think it's important, Will, but I think it's also needs to be called out that a lot of these celebrities did not care that the lower classes in Los Angeles, the middle class even, has had to deal with crime, has had to deal with being overregulated, overtaxed, paying the gas tax, paying the regular taxes, having to deal with the homeless encampments all around them. They are not lucky enough to live in a gated community in Calabasas, right? So they were okay with everybody else slumming it in California, and they continue to vote for Democrats, campaign for Democrats, campaign for Kamala, right? And then go on their soapboxes at their award shows and talk about their social justice issues, right? So they were all for that. And then the moment that something happens that their money, their fame, and their connections could not protect them from, all of a sudden now they're sounding the alarm. I give it to you for at least sounding an alarm, but for me it's like, oh, well, convenient now because you're not shielded from it. Where were you when people were living in squalor in Los Angeles and you didn't have a voice and you campaigned for leadership that put you guys in this position? I hope that you have seen the light now, but I feel like it's very convenient.
Do you think they will, though? Just as a practical matter. I saw Dean Cain say this. He said he thinks it's, and this is not the most important thing. I don't want anybody to be confused. The most important thing is putting these fires out, which I'll give you the latest on that coming up in a little bit here on the Will Cain Show. I spent a lot of time yesterday familiarizing myself with the geography of that area, meaning like Mandeville Canyon, Crestwood Hills, Brentwood, all of that where the fire is kind of moving. But it is interesting. Like, do you think these people will change their minds? Like, is Dean Cain right? There will be an awakening.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that they'll remember this. And listen, this is a natural disaster. Was it preventable? Well, unless it was arson, probably not, right? And then the winds took over, and we can't downplay that. It irritates me when they talk about climate change and everything. And we also have to understand as rational, practical people that there will be natural disasters and there will be catastrophe that ensues when you have a natural disaster. And it's going to be messy and it's going to be chaotic and everybody's not going to make the right decision all the time. But when you look at the mismanagement and the years of mismanagement that led up to this and just all of the things, I mean, you could make a list a mile long. And then not only that, when you not only see Mayor Karen Bass, who I think is a joker, but you also see, as you mentioned, Gavin Newsom, and you see the way that he is holding himself, the way he's interacting with the press, the way he's trying to save his own skin because he wants to run in 2028. That's what gives me the ick more than anything else. It's Gavin. And I thought even Gavin would have the wherewithal not to be such a narcissistic clown, but I was wrong. He is taking this spotlight and he's using it for himself. It's going to backfire, but it's still gross for me to watch.
Okay. I want to play you this sound. This is Joe Biden from this weekend talking about, I don't know, an alternate reality where he could have beat Donald Trump. Listen.
I would have beaten Trump, could have beaten Trump, and I think that Kamala could have beaten Trump, would have beaten Trump. It wasn't about, I thought it was important to unify the party. And when the party was worried about whether or not I was going to be able to move, I thought it was, even though I thought I could win again, I thought it was better to unify the party. And it was the greatest honor in my life to be President of the United States.
Yeah, he could have beaten Trump, but also Kamala could have beaten Trump. Make it make sense, Tommy.
Yeah, that's the part that I find most confusing. I mean, a lot of old folks, they live in a little bit of delusion, and it's very sad when it happens. We've all seen it. But Kamala did run against Donald Trump, and she lost. Right. So I'm really confused at that part. Like, has he been hibernating for the last several months? Did he not see what happened? She did run against Trump.
I have a theory, Tommy. So he's definitely senile. I think that means it comes and it goes, though. That doesn't mean he's always, you know what I mean? I think that's what happens when you get old. It's not like you're always out to lunch, but there's times you start slipping, right? I actually am not sure this is him slipping. I think what happened is he believes the first part. He's like, he probably believes I could have beaten Trump. He believed that from the beginning, they say, right? But then he realized as it's coming out of his mouth, like, that's a huge insult to Kamala. So then he's got to make this, like, weird, and he's like, he doesn't like Kamala, but he can't go on record like that. So then he does this thing like, I think Kamala could have beaten Trump too, which of course makes no sense. But I think he was trying to backtrack undercutting Kamala.
Yeah, probably. And I think that as the months and the years go on, you're going to get less of that from Joe Biden. I think he's going to be, if he's not in full send mode now, come 7 days from now when he's officially out of office, I do think he's going to be in full send mode. And I think as he ages even more, I think he's going to become even more honest. And I think he's going to bury Kamala. I think he's going to have some really nasty things to say about her. And no one's going to be able to stop him at this point because he's not going to have people in his staff and in his administration that are going to be able to cover for him. So he's just going to say whatever. Stay tuned for that. I think it's going to be really ugly. But, speaking of Kamala and all of this, just tying it back to the wildfires, I tweeted this over the weekend, but I don't know about you, Will. I'm confused as to where Kamala is. Not only is she currently the vice president, but she is a former senator, and she lives in California, and she lives in Brentwood, and her home apparently maybe had some activity around it regarding looting or a call to the police regarding that situation. And I'm like, you say that you want to run, maybe she wants to run for governor of California, maybe she wants to run for president in 2028, and she's from a state that's currently undergoing a major disaster. Right. And she's not really saying anything. That's perplexing to me.
It's fascinating. She said
something
more during... was it Helene? Which hurricane was it that hit Florida? I guess it was probably Helene, and then we think of it now in North Carolina. But she was more active in public because she saw an opportunity. And, remember the story Ron DeSantis says she didn't call me and she's never called me, and then it was politicized. She was more a part of that natural disaster than she is for the one in her home state.
Yeah, that's what's so weird to me. Even if you want to feign leadership, then you just at least say or do something. And this would be an opportunity that I think that people would actually give her a little credit for because it would look authentic. I mean, that's her state, right? Like you could actually express concern for your state and people would be probably back off of her a little bit. Even if they don't like her, they'd be like, listen, you want to do something, that's your state. Like at least we give you credit. But once again, she just phones it in because she's setting the bar even lower for herself. I don't think she wants to run for anything. And if she does, she's really planning on just skating in and having everyone else do the work because she's not even trying. And I think it's really embarrassing.
Okay, this is actually a good transition. Did you see speaking of Kamala and all this, during Jimmy Carter's funeral, first of all, did you see the brochure, Tommy? What not a brochure. What do you call it? At a funeral, I don't know, the pamphlet. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, the program.
Yeah, the front of the program had, according to Senator Elizabeth Warren, a white supremacist tattoo. It had a symbol. First of all, here's Warren. Show the New York Post headline. The New York Post headline, she's been going after my former co-host, your Secretary of Defense nominee, whose confirmation hearings are tomorrow. Senator Warren harps on Pete Hegseth's Christian tattoos as she rails against his anti-woke policies. She has run out all of the discredited and under-the-table slimy criticisms of Pete Hegseth. She's like the worst right now. She's doing all of it after it's been debunked, including his tattoos, which, not for nothing, was also on the floor, like in tile, at Joe Biden's funeral, because it's a Christian symbol, an ancient Christian symbol. What'd I say? I said Joe Biden's funeral? Oh, I meant Jimmy Carter. Yeah. Sorry. Not to get ahead of ourselves. Sorry, Mr. President. I'm just saying, it was an honest mistake. Jimmy Carter. Yeah, anyway, Pete takes the stand tomorrow in his confirmation hearings, Tommy.
If all they have is the tattoos, I think Pete's looking pretty good. I've talked about this before because there was such outrage initially, and this has been a couple months of this outrage. I think it's going to dissipate, and I think it already has dissipated. And the fact that this is now the thing, and Senator Warren is trying to resurrect this and make this a thing, trying to make fetch happen. Mean Girls, of course, throwback there. I think it's just embarrassing. It's like the tattoos give me cause for pause. All right. If that's the best you guys have, I can't wait to see a confirmation hearing where you guys are trying to decipher his tattoos and try to make them some kind of a nefarious thing. I think he's looking pretty good, Will, and I'm happy for him.
And there's going to be like 200 vets, patriots, intermingled with like 100 Navy SEALs who are already there, who are going to meet at the Vietnam War Memorial tomorrow, march to the Capitol Hill, sit in those confirmation hearings because the war fighters. It's really amazing. The war fighters totally support Pete Hegseth. I got a text from a friend this morning who just listened to audio War on Warriors, and this is a friend who I would describe as reluctant MAGA. He's MAGA, but reluctant. or a slow adopter. Maybe that's a better term for it. And he was like, if you read or listen to that book, there's no doubt in your mind it should be Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense. Like, it answers all the questions. All right, Tomi has her show coming up, and I have to let her go in a minute. So, Tomi, I'm not making light, but sometimes we also have to, like, you know, not just be too serious in the world. And we're going to seriously cover the LA fires, as we have, both on Fox and Friends Weekend, here on the Will Cain Show as well. But Tomi, I keep getting this note, okay? I don't expect it to have hit your feed, okay? You're already smiling. I hope you don't know what I'm talking about. The LA fire chief, her name's like Crowley. I think her name's like Crowley. Do you know where I'm going with this, Tomi?
I do, because I saw the pre-show notes, and I had to look it up because I didn't know that when I saw that, I was like, the resemblance. I looked it up, I was like, to the woman? But then I looked at it and I was like, there's similar bone structure there for sure.
Tomi, so this is the picture of the LA fire chief, and I cannot tell you how much my social media is saying, OMG, Will, it's your doppelganger. Which, if you're listening on podcast or on radio, it's the fire chief, and she got her uniform on, so she's got her hat on, and I have to say, I really hate this, but put the picture up of me. Do you guys have that picture of me too? You don't have it? It's the one from the one from today. It's the press release from today. It looks just like her, Tomi. I have to admit. The resemblance is there.
There are some similarities. Yeah, and that I'm happy that you can admit that, because, I've given you a lot of grief about you trying to maybe look like Pete Hegseth or, the different things. And now we found it. We found the true match there. And so, listen, I don't know what that says. Maybe brother, sister, maybe that's what that looks like. The bone structure is there. I see it. I had to look it up. It wasn't immediately clear to me, but now I see it.
I have a feminine bone structure.
I think it's the bone structure. Yeah.
Like, of all the things Tomi said, like if she said, I see it in the eyes or the smile, but she literally went after my bone structure.
Wow.
Like, that's not fixable, man. I guess they have filler. I can do filler.
We did an AI version too of you, so we'll put that up later.
Okay. Who's your doppelganger, Tomi? Like, there's got to be somebody everybody says, you look like X.
I would be curious to hear who that person is. I haven't heard any.
Really? In all your life, no one said to you, you look like this particular person?
No. The blonde hair, people try to just pick out your random blonde and just say you look like this blonde person, but I haven't heard anything that's convincing.
I'm going to find
So I would encourage the audience to let me know. Yes, please do, Will. I would appreciate that.
Okay, Tomi Lahren is Fearless is coming up here on OutKick. It's right after this show. It's 1 o'clock Eastern time. Head over to OutKick. Watch Tomi. She's great. Okay, Tomi, thanks so much for being here today on The Will Cain Show.
Thanks, Will, and congratulations to you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, talk to you soon. Thanks, Tomi. All right. God, I have this whole monologue prepared today. What are you laughing at so much, James? Like, you're just cracking up over there. What?
It's just a good time. It's a new era. Bright feelings, dawn of a new age of American exceptionalism. And
I've been a little loose today, and it's not the day. It's not the day, Will.
All right, tighten up.
Need to tighten up.
Here we go. This is awesome.
No, I had a monologue. I think let's do it. Should I do it? I want to share with you my thoughts on the LA fire, but I also want to get back into what the future holds here, talk to you about the new Will Cain Show. So why don't you start grabbing some comments? Let's answer some questions about it, too.
Okay.
Can you do that? All right. If you have any questions, we'll answer those as well. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Will Cain Show. So my texts are blowing up. A lot of nice people sending me nice well wishes today, but actually I haven't had time to look at them all because now my texts are probably blowing up because we have breaking news as well, right? And I'm going to get the texts on this. What is the breaking news, two-a-days?
Mike McCarthy out as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
How about that?
How do you feel about that?
Man, I have been so conflicted on McCarthy.
Yeah.
Like, you can sit there and you can tell yourself, oh, he's mediocre. He's, he'll never get him over the top. But I can't ignore he went 12-5 for 3 straight years. Mm-hmm. And then this year, 7-10 without Dak.
And there's only
That's pretty good without Dak.
There's only so much you could do when you're handcuffed by an owner like Jerry Jones, too.
I agree.
Right?
I saw Jimmy Johnson say on this Fox this weekend that the Cowboys and Steelers should do a coaching swap. That Mike McCarthy is a Pittsburgh guy, and it's just gotten stale in Pittsburgh after so much time. So you take McCarthy, who is a good coach.
Yeah.
I think he is. I don't know that he's a great coach, meaning I don't know if he's the difference maker in making you a champion.
Yeah.
But send him to Pittsburgh, send Mike Tomlin, who I think might actually be a great coach, right? To Dallas. I would love Mike Tomlin with the Cowboys. I don't think the Steelers are going to move on from him, but
They seem pretty stuck with him.
Yeah.
look what he's done. I mean, he had Roethlisberger, so we got to give him that. But
this year they came around. I mean, Russell
with Russell
fitting
Wilson,
in that
he's not 36 years old, not at the top of his game.
No, but he had some games where he looked like he was.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
He didn't look like the Broncos' Russell Wilson.
No,
but he didn't look like Seattle's Russell Wilson either.
Serviceable.
I would be up for that. So we'll see where Jerry Jones and the Cowboys go. No Mike McCarthy. That's the breaking news. That's hitting my text as well here on the Will Cain Show, streaming live at foxnews.com, on the Fox News YouTube channel, and the Fox News Facebook page. I want to get to the conversation, and we'll do it all this week. I want to have an open conversation with you. I mean it. Look, all I've ever wanted to be with you is authentic and real. That's it, okay? I'm going to share with you my opinions, my critical thoughts, my curiosity. And I'm not going to all of a sudden become like, I hope, the hair-dried, perfect, whatever, newsman. And everything I say, I believe seeking out the truth is a process, and I share every process of doing this with you. So now I want you involved as well. Like, let's talk about what's it mean? What's this mean? For this show and the upcoming 4 o'clock Will Cain Show on the Fox News channel. Gavin Newsom, though, is managing the state of California, mismanaging it, and worried about misinformation. Listen to him on the Obama Bros Pod Save America podcast.
My own team saying what happened, and I want to get the answers. And I'll be candid with you, I wasn't getting straight answers.
Yeah.
I watched the press conference. I met with some of those leaders. We had my team start talking to local leaders, saying what's going on. Our state,
And you weren't getting straight answers from
I
the
was
local
getting
leaders.
different answers. And so for me, that's not a story. When you start getting different answers, then I'm not getting the actual story. And they're assessing it. And I get that as well. You have to have a little bit of grace, back to the point. We're in this emergency environment and everything else. So I just want to determine the facts. But no one has any patience anymore. In this weaponized, back to the grievance of Trump, everyone else. There's immediacy. And lies travel the proverbial world. And it's hard to get the facts out there unless you have the backing of those facts, and you can communicate them soberly. And so that's what we're trying to achieve.
Man, he's so slick, he's slimy. In that clip, he is attacking Trump for, quote unquote, politicizing this event in the wake of this tragedy, while also shifting blame, which is a political maneuver within that of I'm not getting straight answers. Gavin Newsom is concerned and making time for talking about Donald Trump and misinformation. Among his highest priorities right now is misinformation. Now, let me tell you something about misinformation in the wake of a natural disaster. It's actually true. It's a problem, and I know that firsthand of being on the ground in Maui. It is. It's a problem. But if you rank priorities for Gavin Newsom, what you see is a consistent lack of attention to the things that matter. What more? As has been the case for 5 years, the biggest worriers about misinformation have been the biggest purveyors of misinformation. So I give you another California politician. How about Senator Adam Schiff? Here he is this week, I believe it's on ABC, talking about, the water reservoir, notably the Santa Ynez water reservoir right there in Pacific Palisades was empty.
To your understanding, why did so many of those fire hydrants simply run dry? Was there something to do with that 117 million gallon reservoir in the Palisades that was out of operation? What's your understanding? What's your initial read on this?
Well, my initial take, and I certainly want a full review of this so that I can form a more complete understanding of the matter. But my initial understanding is the reservoirs that the Palisades were drawing on, these 3 million gallon reservoirs, were full at the initiation of these fires. But they're intended, frankly, they have the capacity to put out homes that maybe house multiple houses, not if the whole town is up in flames.
That is simply not true. I mean, if there's a definition of disinformation, that is it. We know the Santa Ynez reservoir was empty. By the way, Gavin Newsom, also talking about misinformation, says that. I don't think we have that clip. He's immediately asked by a reporter, what about the reservoir? Gavin Newsom says the same thing that Schiff just said. He says the reservoirs were full. And then a reporter goes, what about the Santa Ynez Reservoir? He goes, there's going to be an investigation on that one. So were you lying 30 seconds ago when you said that the reservoirs were full? As a side note, it may not be a side note, the whole hydrants and water pressure, I will say, I do know, again, because of my experience in Maui, what happens a lot of times in these fires is pipes burst because of the heat of the flame. You say, which pipes will? Not the main lines running down the streets, the heads at each house. And when that happens, now you have free-flowing water. And if you have that happening all the way up and down the streets because the pipes burst at each and every individual house, your toilet head, your sink, whatever, then you lose water pressure because you're just losing water, by 1,000 cuts everywhere in the system. Maybe that has something to do with the hydrants. But we know that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was empty, and we know that water was a problem. My argument to you is while Newsom and Schiff and these guys focus on misinformation, it's par for the course of how they have their priorities messed up. And that is for the state of California from the top down. A fish rots from the head down. It's from the governor to the mayor, Karen Bass, to the fire chiefs and the fire assistant chiefs and the water department. Everywhere you have people prioritizing DEI, climate change, other than the basic functions of government. When you pay your taxes, and they pay a lot in California and even more in Los Angeles, you expect basic service. And basic service, of course, crime prevention and things like that, but also response to disaster. That's basic service for your government taxes. And you're not getting that. Instead, you get focused on climate change and ideology and DEI. And I'm going to tell you, we know this. How do we know this? Well, first, let's go to Quinones. I think it's Jessica Quinones. She is the leader of the LA Department of Water Protection. I think that's what the P is for. And she got the job. And so here she is back in 2019 talking about her priorities in this job.
Coming from the communities that I come, seeing what I've seen through my career in utilities and through the military. I've been in the Coast Guard 19 and a half years now, so I got 6 more months to qualify for my 20 years, which was my original goal.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
you for your service.
Thank you. It's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs that we've done in the past from an infrastructure perspective and that we involve the community in that process. And this utility is serious about it, is authentic about it. And so I'm just super excited to be part of that movement.
Excited, most important thing, my priority, looking at everything through the lens of equity and social justice. Water. How about fresh drinking water, free-flowing water, firefighting water? No, primarily through the lens of equity. Tell me this isn't a state where its priorities are completely off kilter. You want even a worse example? You want, in my mind, the worst example? This is the assistant LA fire chief talking about diversity and equity in the fire department and even acknowledging when it gets in the way of helping people do their job and then dismisses it. Watch.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
I mean, fireable is not even close to enough. Your responses to a fire victim where she's saying a female firefighter perhaps who can't carry him out of a fire, his response is he shouldn't have got himself in this situation? Holy crap, man. She says people want to see someone that looks like them. No, they don't. They want somebody who can carry them out of a fire. I mean, tell me that's not a rotten fish. That is a rotten fish from top to bottom in the state of California. What's up, James?
I think the scariest part about this is that a lot of the big social and cultural changes that come to America always start in California and then find their way into the mainstream.
Yeah, it's the Petri dish. It is the Petri dish of liberal ideology and policy. It's where you get it the most undiluted, even more so than New York City. It really is, even more so than New York City. I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was, tweet this. East Coast politics is more pragmatic. Yes, it's on the left, but it's transactional. And it's like, what can you do for me? What is this? And it's ideological in the West. It's like they believe this stuff and want to live this way. And this is the life that they get in this disaster. You don't have to live this way. You don't have to, man. And maybe you're realizing that now, but I'm going to point to Florida. They get hurricanes every year. Awful. Natural disasters, but predictable. And you can have good leadership that prepares you for the predictable. Just look at Ron DeSantis. Ask the people of Florida how they feel about DeSantis in the wake of these tragedies, and you'll see your model for good leadership. And in California, this Petri dish, you have your model for the worst way to run a state. Okay, we've already taken 2 breaks, right? What? Keep rolling?
We can take another one. It's fine.
Oh,
keep going. Whatever you want to do.
I don't want to take a break.
Let's not.
I don't want to.
Let's not.
We'll do it live.
Let's do it live. Nice. Okay. How much time we have left together here? We got about 15 minutes. Okay. All right. So, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Next week, Fox News Channel, The Will Cain Show. You 3 have questions, because I have talked to you a little bit, but not a ton. If you in the audience have comments and questions, I want to take that. Here's the one you guys told me first that you get asked a lot. What does this mean for Fox and Friends weekend?
Mm-hmm.
It means that Saturday will be my last day. Honestly, yesterday was my last day as a full host of Fox and Friends weekend.
Wow.
There were some things that came up that didn't allow me to fully say goodbye yesterday, but I will be there next Saturday to say goodbye.
We go.
And what's that?
Should we go?
Should you go?
Yes.
To the show?
Yeah. Say goodbye. I don't
Well,
know.
I'll be in Texas.
We'll be here. Okay.
Let me just talk about Fox and Friends weekend for just a minute. So I've been doing TV for about 14 years. Last night I took a walk because I'm not going to be spending so much time in New York City. So I did a little nostalgia walk. First thing I ever did, between 86th and 87th Street on Amsterdam, Barney Greengrass. I'd never been on TV. I had only ever owned businesses and small newspapers and that kind of thing. Quinceañera magazine. And
wild. It's still wild.
And I booked Barney Greengrass. There was a show that I used to see called Dinner for Five. And it was like all these celebrities that hung out together and talked about their life. I thought, man, they're so decompressed. They're so real. And you could see like Bill Maher, Alanis Morissette, Vince Vaughn, maybe a sports star all together. It was really cool. Jon Favreau hosted it, the guy that, the director and the actor. Yeah. I was like, what if you did that with serious subjects? What if you did that like with politics and news? And that was my idea. Like, because all I've ever wanted was something real. And I often felt like it's, hyped up debate or whatever. I wanted it to be real. So I booked Barney Greengrass on the Upper West Side. I went to the owner. I said, I want to do this in your spot. I paid for a camera crew. I booked it myself. I did the whole thing. Obviously.
That's wild. That's crazy.
You want to know who's my guests? I booked it myself. Kevin Williamson, then with the National Review. Chris Hayes, who has a show on MSNBC.
Wow.
He didn't at the time. And we sat there for like 2 hours talking about, we did a whole hour on race. We did a whole hour on taxes. And like the philosophy, Tinfoil, you'd love it. The philosophy of taxes, like, is it theft? And I took a walk last night and I went back, like, this is where I started doing this, right? And so I've been doing this for 14 years is my point. And I've been a part of some really cool things. I've missed out, and I would encourage anyone who does this, like, I've missed out on some jobs that I really wanted. Numerous. I was a part of First Take. Loved First Take. Loved debating Stephen A. Smith. The Will Cain Show on ESPN, I had guys like yourselves, you 3. I miss those guys to this day. Nuno, Bubba, Cerruti, Mike A., Pat, on and on. And what I'm here to tell you is I've had some great, great things I've been a part of. There's been nothing like Fox and Friends Weekend. Nothing. What I had on camera with Pete and Rachel, and then behind camera, I can't tell you, like, even the floor directors, Aaron and Lynn and Matt and everybody else, and the cameramen and the makeup artists, Jen and Gavina, and the producers. It's just, I've done TV a lot. It's not like that. It's not. Pete and Rachel and I would hang out afterwards. Show's over, not for us. Let's go hang out in Pete's office and talk. Let's go to dinner. Let's go to each other's houses. And we still are, I had a text from Pete a minute ago. And I've been talking to Rachel, and we knew it. We knew it at the time. I had to tell Rachel. Rachel is so wise. I can think of so few people in my life who've added more to my general sense of wisdom than Rachel Campos Duffy. She is so crazy and so wise. And I genuinely love her. And, you know, I don't know. I told Rachel, Pete and I knew, and we had to tell Rachel at times, like, hey, just so you know, this is lightning in a bottle. This doesn't happen, and it will not last forever. To have 3 people with that kind of genuine chemistry, it just is a moment in time. So be grateful and enjoy it. So I am really sad that that is coming to an end. Charlie Hurt, it was announced today, will be one of the new hosts of Fox and Friends Weekend.
A lot of people were asking.
Charlie is an awesome dude. Awesome. And I knew this was coming to some degree, and he's been with me. And Charlie can laugh at himself, and he's wicked smart. And he's going to fit in perfectly. And he's already making fun of Rachel. So that's great. You know, he's already saying, which, Ukraine, China, the missing children, which button is she going to push right now? And so it's going to be great. And, I mean, Charlie knows, he's an intellectual, but an intellectual that can laugh. And that is so important, and have fun. That's what Fox and Friends Weekend is. So Charlie will be there. And as for the other seat, we'll see. There's a lot of great people out there, some of whom you can guess and you know. So we'll see who the third seat is on Fox and Friends Weekend.
My mom texted, said she'll miss you on Fox and Friends Weekend.
No,
Getting a little emotional right now. I've never seen you like this.
Me?
I've never seen you like this.
I mean, how am I displaying emotion?
a little water.
No, I'm dry. I am. I'm going to be on Fox and Friends tomorrow morning and Saturday, and I will not cry. I will not cry.
Don't you do
It's
it.
just TV. I know.
Don't you do it.
I know, dude. I know.
We'll make fun of you relentlessly.
Yeah, and you should.
I already am.
And you should. The thing about me being emotional is, like, you know, it's the only reason it is because it's people we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. It's people, and it's real people, and it's real relationships. Like, for me, I can only speak for me. It's not about my career. It's not about even a show. It's about people. And man, you know what the coolest thing about Fox and Friends is? And I don't know, I hope this continues with the Will Cain Show. Meeting the people. Oh, yeah. I love waking up with you and hanging out. And you really get a chance to know, they get a chance to know you. And because Fox is a special place, you get to know them, meaning when you go out, I do a diner or whatever it may be. And that's the emotional side. And maybe I'm getting older and softer and all these different things, but that is the emotional aspect for me, the people.
We get to see a lot of the country that other people don't all the time in different parts of the country, different people from different places, different perspectives, which is very important.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tinfoil, did you pull either of you three? I'll tell you more about the new show if you want, from what I know. But do you have any comments or questions? Tinfoil, I know you're looking at the YouTube and Facebook.
Yes, I am.
What do you got?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked.
We texted you a couple.
Oh, I'm not looking at my text.
So,
what do you got?
Will the show still be available as a podcast? What if we do not have cable? How will I see you, Will?
Okay, well, this is going nowhere. This show, that's something I need to make very clear and important.
People are asking, yeah, for sure.
Okay, this show's going nowhere. This show continues to stream live on YouTube and Facebook and FoxNews.com. And for that matter, because I really asked for this and negotiated, other places. I want this show to be on X. I want this show to be on a lot of other platforms. And it's going nowhere. Like, you know, the crew you're looking at right now, we're staying together. And I think that's the part, Tinfoil, and for anybody watching, figuring out how these two shows are a handshake, how they work together. I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be really cool.
It'll be cool.
Like, you come here and you're going to get a more casual version of me, and we're going to talk about my personal life more and what's going on, and the four of us, and sports a little more, and all those things that are a little fuller picture of me and the things I care about in this world. And then you get to 4, and it's not like all of a sudden now, that's the whole point. Does Will put on a tie? Is it the button down Will? Like, I don't think so.
I think this works. I like this. Maybe one more button, but
This is my thing on this. One more button, I always feel like you're selling Bibles door to door.
Oh, yeah.
This, I feel like I'm just short of being at the club.
It's for the ladies.
Ladies.
Someone on Morgan Edwards said, Will, I think suit jacket off, dress shirt, top button open, sleeves rolled up would be good for
No
4
tie,
p.m.
though?
No tie.
Because no tie, tie, no jacket, sleeves rolled up is CNBC.
Ah, that's true.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
You're Jim Cramer.
Yeah, that's CNBC.
Like, hey,
let's get a stock pick wrong.
So basically just a button down with the sleeves rolled up. I'm afraid it's a little too cash. There are times I'm going to have to do breaking news. And I'm excited about that, actually. I've done that on Fox and Friends.
Do you ever think there will be a day where they just let you show up in a T-shirt to the 4 p.m.? just once.
No.
The way you ask the question's key. Will there be a day, like 5 years down the road or something? I don't know.
You know what? Why?
So somebody said T-shirt Fridays.
T-shirt Fridays?
Ooh.
So that casual Friday, maybe.
Jersey Fridays?
Will James start dressing up on this show now?
Yeah.
Do you guys think? Will James start dressing up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's going to wear a suit
But
and
also
tie
I was
every day.
thinking, who is in this that 4 o'clock hour? Somebody who's been there traditionally is Dr. Phil.
Is he?
He's a one button Alf guy, no tie now. So he's very casual.
There's a guy on X, a Wall Street Journal fashion guy, and I think he's a lib, but whatever. Pretty good traditional sense of style, and I like traditional. I've gone through different phases of this. He's big out on the whole open collar, big out on it.
Like for it?
No, against it.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I've kind of been reevaluating the open collar look. I don't know. Yeah.
You're a Texan. It works.
Yeah, why not just go full Texan on
Well, speaking of Texan, if I'm going to go open collar, I think you got to start starching your shirts so they stand up.
It can't be floppy.
Yeah, they
You're
got to
right.
stand up. Like you could just put it in the corner and it would just stand up on its own.
Yeah.
I think I'm thinking about starching my jeans too, starting to do that. I am. I like the crease
That's the
down
most
the middle.
cowboy thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's great looking. The crease down the middle. It's good.
Looks like you just bought them, though.
I used to do that. There was a time, and you'd ask for heavy starch when I was growing up. Like high school, we would do that. Shirt. And I'm telling you, if you ever put on a heavy starch shirt, it's not comfortable.
No. That's what I wore for my wedding was a heavy starch shirt. It was so uncomfortable. I don't know why I did it.
Right.
It's terrible.
Right.
I'm the opposite of you, though. I used to get distressed jeans on purpose because,
you're younger. Your whole life, distressed jeans have been in style.
That's true.
Right? Except you're Brooklyn hipster, and now you want the Japanese dark denim, right?
That's true.
It's not distressed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like raw denim, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like straight off the, off the helm.
The show, it's going to be a work in progress, an experiment. Look, professional, but casual. Opinionated, but curious. Breaking news, but depth. I want to be able to have long-form conversations. I want history and context and things that I think are missing from news, like we did here during the beginning of the war between Israel and Gaza, and we went into the history over like 4 episodes, like we did with Ukraine and the history of Ukraine. We did that together here for like 4 episodes on like, I don't know, did we start that history at World War II? Were we before? Like, I think I went before, like Russia's long-term relationship with Ukraine. Yeah. I think there is a place in the news for that deeper I hate the word context because it's a boring word, but history and why something matters. And then after all of that, fun. Got to have fun. Got to be entertained.
We have musicians on, things like that, or no?
Oh, that's a great question. Part of this that we've never accomplished that I've always wanted to? I've wanted to have country music guys.
We will. I think this will be a great forum for that.
I love country music.
Yeah. Oh,
and I want to interview these guys and talk to them.
They're fascinating people.
And bring a guitar in and do a little acoustic for me. Just a song or two. And, Parker McCollum.
That is awesome.
Riley
Green.
Riley Green would be great. He just stepped on a nail.
I'll come down and play with them.
Yeah.
Do duos.
Not to go Schefter again, but I have heard rumors that both of the famous Cyruses will be in D.C. Inauguration Weekend doing separate live but big events.
Miley and Billy Ray?
Yeah.
Oh. Miley would do conservative? Trump?
I've heard it's...
I highly doubt
From
that.
what I've heard, it's not an endorsement of Trump, but it's just a nod to the history of the peaceful transition
like
of power.
playing at a ball? Like one of the balls?
It's either that or one of the
ball?
I don't know the exact event that she's going to be at, but it's going to be one of those like pre-inaugural concert type deals. And it's big entertainment news too, because like the two of them have split and haven't talked
Billy
to each
Ray
other.
and Miley?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And now who knows, but they'll both be there.
I think that'd be a great idea for the show.
What, music?
Yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you're a music guy.
Yeah.
No, but I'd love that.
It's awesome.
And because of my relationship with
Greenwood.
Fox and Friends, like that's the thing we did on Fox and Friends. There's so much of Fox and Friends that I want to learn from and take with me, like that. You know, what we did with Maui and helping people. I've got a text here from Carrie Riley who helped us raise over $1 million in goods to help donate to the people of Maui, which we got the Sands Corporation donate a plane, you guys remember, to deliver. I mean, I also want this platform to be something that not just informs, but helps the people of America. And I don't know yet. I don't know how, but North Carolina, California, Hawaii, Florida, the needs are great. And Fox and Friends has been a great model on that as well. And I'd like to figure that out. It's only an hour. Like, but you know what's funny? My buddies be like, you're going to keep doing your digital show? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to keep doing my digital show, my podcast. Like, that's a lot of content. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, because this is more of like our conversation, and like, you know, we figure things out as we're going along a little bit.
That's what we're thinking about.
Yeah, on this show. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I did a 3-hour radio show. I did a
That's a
2-hour debate show on ESPN. I have done a 4-hour weekend show. I can do these 2 shows, hang out with the audience.
You nervous at all?
Yeah.
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 How's it been?
That's an honest answer. I appreciate that.
Do you feel like things have changed in the last hour or two now that like it's public, it's out there, and people are coming to you about it? Like,
Well, I
is there
don't
a
know.
certain
I
feeling
haven't
to
had a
that?
chance. Honestly, I haven't, because we did this show almost immediately. Yeah.
You got a little nerves in the belly?
I got a lot. Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice.
I say you read every text out loud on it.
Do you want me to read
No.
You want me to read them out loud?
No, you don't have
Who
to.
are some of the cool ones that you could say?
Cool
that
for
maybe,
you?
or maybe like that people
Cool for
wouldn't
you?
expect.
Cool for
Anyone
you?
of the
Yeah.
audience, Dan,
Doug Burgum
Patrick.
said-
A lot of people, man. Himmer, Perino,
Nice.
Ainsley, Lawrence, Steve.
A lot of love on Twitter
know.
from them too. Yeah.
Yeah. You told me Brett Baer sent a note.
Guy Benson.
Ainsley told me Sean said a nice thing. It's
Got a
really cool,
nice
Guy
note from the
Benson.
Speaker's office, Senator Mullen,
Oh, the speaker said something? Mike Johnson?
his staff.
Dr. Gadsad.
I'm sure he did.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
A lot of support for you, man.
Well,
we're really excited for you. And excited for
Bob,
us.
thank you, buddy. Thank you, guys. I am grateful and indebted to you 3 as well. You should know that. Anybody,
Appreciate it.
I said it earlier before the show. You guys have been with me from the beginning, and we're still together now. And it's a journey. We'll see where we take it. By the way, all those people you just mentioned, you're welcome here on the Will Cain Show. No, that's another goal.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing big interviews. Big interviews.
But you're going to get a lot of requests to do things too.
They're coming in.
Yeah,
really?
already,
They're
yeah.
coming
Yeah.
in, yeah.
Really?
People want to talk to you.
I don't have a lot of time.
I know. Sorry, guys.
Well,
come on our show.
Yeah,
instead.
do it.
We'll protect
Yeah,
your
do it.
time.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to keep you guys up on the screen. We're going to continue this conversation throughout the week, okay, leading up to next Tuesday when we launch it. I really hope you're going to join us twice a day, to be honest. I hope you'll hang out with us. It's an ongoing relationship, daily, and then, hourly and on into the future. And that's how I see it. I see it as a relationship and a journey and a process towards arriving at the truth and having a ton of fun along the way. All right, that's going to do it for me today. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. We'll get to them all this week. We'll talk about it. Until next time, I'll see you on The Will Cain Show.